Hi there, it's Cassie. Welcome back to my YouTube channel and blog. Today I have a card for the Split Coast Stampers Color Challenge number 678, and I am using that fun Peep stamp from Simon Says Stamp called My Kind of Peep, along with another one called Big Birthday Wishes. There's the supplies that I used, and I'm making a mask. I talked about this the other day about making masks, and so I'm grabbing 3 Post-its after I stamped that image out, and I'm just going to cut around it and keep going there with that. Now, I pulled out my stamp platform and I am inking up my images with Tangerine Tango from Stampin' Up and Melon Mambo from Stampin' Up as well. And I'm basically performing CPR here a few times, moving those masks around and stamping the images down and just making sure that anything that might get exposed to the ink around it would be covered with one of those masks. Remember that when you are masking, you're going to want to, whatever you stamp first, that will be in the front. And when you mask that, all the other images will be behind it. So as you can see what I'm talking about here, that bunny right there will end up being behind the bunny that's already been masked. So I'll ink him up with some Tangerine Tango and I will stamp him down. And it's a pretty tedious process. I'm cutting out most of it because the card itself took me probably about 40 minutes to make with all this stamping and masking. And I ended up having to make more masks because after a while, those masks get saturated with the ink and you don't want to transfer that on. And they won't be as sticky anymore. So I cut most of that out because all it is the same thing over and over again. Stamp, mask, repeat. And again, I think I got a pretty good workout doing this because of with those solid of images, I ended up having to ink and re-ink. And I didn't even do that great of a job, as you can see on some of those, but I think that's part of the handmade fun quality there. And there I am towards the end, getting that last bunny stamped. And then I'm going to switch over to the outline image that comes in this set for the My Kind of Peep. And that's where he really gets his definition. And I end up using the Night of Navy for the outline image there. And those were the 3 colors for the Split Coast Stampers Color Challenge: Night of Navy, Tangerine Tango, and Melon Mambo. I just happen to have those. I don't have any of the new Stampin' Up! Colors, but I do happen to have those. Come to find out, the reason I had such a hard time stamping some of those images is because I need to re-ink my pads. I need to put the re-inker down. But mostly all I did for this was a lot of stamp, clean, mask, ink, repeat. And so I did that all the way down, trying to make sure that I got the right masks where they needed to be to stamp the bunny down, or the outline of the bunny down as well. And those masks, after a while, started not really sticking, but it's okay. They just needed to stay in place. And I end up, after all that stamping, making one mistake with the masking and that outline image, and it comes at the very end. And you'll see what I'm talking about here in a minute. To clean my stamps, I use baby wipes and sometimes a stamp chamois. And it does a good job, and I just make sure that it's good and dry and clean in between so that I can move that stamp around. So there it is, that last image, and you can kind of see over one of his ears I had stamped over. So I fix it by stamping the image off by itself, and I'm going to end up cutting it out. But first, before I do that, I have this stamp set comes with 4 little Peep faces. And so I take 3 of them actually, and I just randomly go around and stamp all those faces all over those little bunnies. And oh my goodness, look at the character now. I grab out the matching die set for the My Kind of Peep, and I attach it with some micropore tape, and I run it through my Big Shot machine. But in the end, this was completely unnecessary, and you'll see why. So there he is. And now I've grabbed a piece of 4¼ by 11" paper. It's the same Neenah Solar White, and I am scoring it at 5½ to make this a top folding A2 size card, which then equals out to be 4¼ by 5½, and I am using the bone folder to make sure it has a good crease. And I've grabbed just a little piece of pattern paper, and I don't know where it's from. It was in my stash, but it matches the Night of Navy fairly well. And I'm just going to tape that down to the one side. And I will trim off the excess here in a second with my scissors. I used a tape runner to put that down, but for my main panel image there with the peeps, I end up using some Tombo Mono Multi adhesive because it's the liquid adhesive, and honestly, I love that using it, I have a few seconds to kind of move around my panel before it's completely adhered. So this gives me a chance to make sure that it's good and straight and lined up because it's covering so much of that panel. So I take my panel and I just line it up there and stick it down and just make sure that it's level where I want it to. So I ended up just fussy cutting completely around that bunny, and I stuck him down with some Tombo Mono Multi, and then I kind of trimmed off his little buns. And now I'm pulling out that big birthday wishes set because I'm going to make this a birthday card. And I stamped that in the Night of Navy on a white panel, and I'm just trimming it down so that I can stick it on my card. And I just did a diagonal cut to give a little bit of interest. Sorry, I'm off screen there, but I move it up so you see what I'm doing here in a second. And I use some foam adhesive to stick it down, and then I trim off the excess. But I'm not done yet because I still want to do something on the inside. And that's where I grab the sentiment from the My Kind of Peep that says, "Peep-filled marshmallow hugs. How adorable is that?" My mom loves Peeps. She actually likes to age them, have them sit out for a little bit and get a little bit hard on the outside. My kids don't like them, but they adore that Grandma likes them. I clean it off, and then I decide that I want a little bit of bling on the outside, so I grab some pretty Pink Posh Sparkling Clear Sequins in both 4mm and 6mm, and I stick them down with my multi-medium matte because it'll dry clear, and I use my crystal Katana. And there it is. That's the card. So if you have any questions, please leave those in the comments down below. I would love it if you liked and subscribed because I'll have more coming. I'm just having so much fun just making stuff, and I'd love to see or hear what you think. So thanks for stopping by, and have a great day.